galaxy was old, quiet, and full of watching eyes. For thousands of years, powerful civilizations ruled the stars and decided who could rise and who must stay small. Among them was the Orion Collective, an alliance that believed order was more important than freedom. When humans first reached beyond their solar system, the collective noticed them at once. They saw a species that argued with itself, fought small wars, and wasted time on emotion. To the collective, humans looked loud, divided, and weak. Earth did not know it was being watched. Human ships explored nearby systems with hope and fear mixed together. They built small stations and sent messages into the dark. They believed space was empty. One day, everything changed. Above Earth, space bent like glass under pressure. A massive alien structure appeared without warning. Silent and perfect, satellites failed. Screens went dark, and the sky glowed with strange light. Every nation stopped. Every voice went quiet. A signal entered every human system at the same time. Not hacked, not forced, simply allowed. The voice was calm, cold, and without emotion. It spoke in perfect human languages. It said Earth was now officially observed territory. Human expansion must stop immediately. All military growth beyond Earth was forbidden. Any violation would be answered with force. There was no anger in the voice, no threat, only certainty. The message ended with a final line. This is your only warning. The structure vanished as suddenly as it arrived. The sky returned to normal, but the fear stayed. On Earth, leaders gathered in emergency meetings. Some demanded peace at any cost. Others spoke of resistance. Most were afraid. Publicly, humanity chose silence. No reply was sent. News channels spoke of diplomacy and cooperation. The world tried to breathe again. But behind closed doors, a different conversation began. Military commanders replayed the message again and again. Scientists studied the energy readings left behind. Historians reminded everyone of one simple truth. Humans had never reacted well to threats. Deep under mountains and oceans, old projects were opened. Weapons once labeled too dangerous were reviewed. Not to attack, not yet, but to prepare. The collective believed humans would obey. They had seen this pattern before. Young species always bent under pressure. Fear always won. What they did not understand was human memory. Humans remembered predators, wars, and extinction events. They remembered what happened when they trusted the strong. Across Earth, people looked at the stars differently now, not with wonder, but with focus. Parents held children tighter. Soldiers trained longer. Engineers worked without sleep. The message from the stars spread quietly through human culture. It became a warning passed in whispers. Do not trust the silence. Far away, the Orion Collective marked Earth as compliant. They turned their attention elsewhere, confident the problem was solved. They never noticed the small changes, the slowed broadcasts, the hidden shipyards, the human habit of smiling while preparing for war. In the dark of space, a mistake had been made. The warning had been delivered, and humanity had heard it clearly. Not as a command, but as a challenge. Underestimation of HFY and HFY, beyond human space. The Orion Collective studied Earth in great detail. They watched human news, history, and old war records. To them, humanity looked confused and broken. The collective analysts saw thousands of human conflicts. They saw nations fighting nations. They saw humans hurting their own kind. They reached one simple conclusion. A species that fights itself will never stand together. The aliens believed fear controlled humans. They believed humans loved comfort too much. They believed one warning was enough. From their great cities of crystal and light, the collective leaders spoke with confidence. Earth has accepted observation. Human expansion has slowed. The threat is neutralized. Alien fleets moved closer to human borders, not to attack, but to remind. Massive warships floated like gods in space. Their weapons powered but silent. It was a show of strength on Earth. People saw these ships through telescopes and hidden cameras. Publicly, governments repeated calm messages. They spoke of patience and peace. They asked people not to panic. Privately, the mood was very different. Human generals met in underground rooms. They studied alien ship movements. They noticed patterns. They noticed arrogance. Scientists compared alien technology with human limits. They searched for weaknesses. They asked dangerous questions. What if we fight back? What if we lose? What if we do nothing? Old military doctrines were rewritten. Human war planners stopped thinking about winning. They started thinking about survival. In hidden facilities, Engines were tested at unsafe levels. Ships were built without flags or names. Weapons were designed to damage, not destroy. Humans remembered that enemies who underestimate often make mistakes. The collective continued to watch. They saw fewer human ships traveling. They saw reduced signals. They believed humanity was slowing down. They did not understand silence. To humans, silence was never peace. Silence was focus. Human culture began to change. Movies stopped showing alien friends. Stories spoke of resistance and unity. Children learned about the sky as a place of danger, not dreams. Across Earth, recruitment numbers quietly increased. Factories changed production lines overnight. Civilian tools were redesigned for war use. Every small step looked harmless on its own. The collective dismissed these signs. They had seen weaker species panic before collapse. They believed humans were doing the same. An alien commander laughed during a briefing. Humans will fight each other long before they fight us. Agreement filled the room. What the collective never learned was this. Humans argue loudly, but when an outside enemy appears, they remember something ancient. They remember the hunt. They remember standing shoulder to shoulder. They remember survival as alien fleets drifted closer. Confident and unafraid, human fleets waited in darkness. Engines cold, weapons ready. No speeches were made. No threats were sent. The galaxy believed the warning had worked. Earth looked small and quiet. But under the surface, humanity was changing. The Orion Collective had made its second mistake. They confused human silence with surrender. The first strike in human Arias Poenis, the first strike came without warning. No final message was sent to Earth. No demand was repeated. In the outer human colonies, a peaceful mining world drifted in silence. Families lived under artificial skies. Children played near observation domes. No one expected death that day. Space tore open above the colony. Alien warships arrived in perfect formation. Their weapons charged in seconds. Cold, precise, unstoppable. The attack lasted only minutes. Energy beams cut through stations and habitats. Defense systems failed instantly. Cities vanished in light and fire. Millions died before Earth even understood what was happening. The colony went dark. No signals, no survivors. Moments later, a message was sent. It reached every human government at the same time. The voice was the same calm voice as before. The message said the attack was a lesson, a reminder of the warning, a demonstration of power. It ended with one clear statement. This will happen again if humans resist. On Earth, the reaction was not panic. It was silence. Screens showed the destroyed colony again and again. People watched without speaking. Grief spread across the planet like a shadow. Then something changed. Human leaders did not argue this time. There were no long debates, no public speeches, no promises of peace. Orders were given quietly. Across Earth and deep space, systems activated at once. Hidden fleets powered up in dark shipyards. Ships without markings moved into position. Human commanders followed plans written for this exact moment. There was no reply to the alien message. No words were sent back. Instead, human ships disappeared from known space routes. They cut all unnecessary communication. They became ghosts. Alien sensors detected movement too late. Human fleets did not approach in straight lines. They used debris fields, dead stars, and radiation storms, places the collective considered unsafe and useless. The first human attack hit an alien patrol group, small ships against massive war vessels. The aliens laughed at first. Then human weapons struck, not powerful, but clever, targeting engines, sensors, and communication systems. Alien ships lost formation. Confusion spread through their ranks. Orders failed to reach commanders. Human ships stayed close, dangerously close. Pilots accepted damage to deliver strikes. Some did not pull away. One alien warship exploded, then another, then another. The survivors tried to escape, but human ships blocked every path. No mercy, no negotiation. For the first time in centuries, the Orion Collective lost a fleet, not in a fair battle, but in a brutal ambush across the galaxy. Observers noticed something strange. Human ships did not chase victory. They vanished the moment the battle ended. On Earth, no celebrations were held, no victory was announced. The loss of the colony still burned in every heart. Human commanders studied the battle results in silence. They learned fast. They adjusted tactics immediately. The alien leadership was stunned. This was not expected. This was not how weak species fought. The collective sent urgent messages between their systems. They spoke of human aggression, human unpredictability, but the damage was already done. The galaxy had seen the truth. Humans did not answer threats with fear. They answered with action. The warning had been ignored, and now, humanity had taken its first step into war. Humans take war into their own hands after the first battles. Humanity did not slow down. They did not wait for approval. They did not ask for peace. The loss of the colony became a line that could not be crossed. From that moment, humans decided the war would end only one way. Across Earth, emergency laws were passed in hours. Factories changed their purpose overnight. Ships meant for trade became war vessels. Civilian technology was redesigned for combat. People understood the cost. They knew many would not return. Still, volunteers filled recruitment centers, not out of hate, but out of duty. Human commanders stopped defending borders. They chose movement and pressure. Small fleets struck supply routes, fuel depots, communication relays, repair stations. Nothing was safe anymore. The Orion Collective struggled to respond. Their fleets were powerful but slow. Their commanders followed strict rules. Rules humans did not respect. Human ships attacked in waves, never the same pattern twice. They used old tactics and new ideas together. Ambush, deception, sacrifice. Some human ships were lost on purpose, used as bait, used to draw enemy fleets into traps. Every loss was calculated. The collective began to panic. Messages between their systems became desperate. They had never fought an enemy like this. Humans did not fight for territory. They fought to break the enemy's will. Alien worlds near the front lines went dark, not destroyed, but isolated. Human forces cut power, trade, and communication. Fear spread faster than destruction. The galaxy started to notice the change. Humans were no longer reacting. They were controlling the war. The collective leaders argued among themselves. Some demanded total destruction of Earth. Others feared what humans might do if pushed further. Human intelligence learned fast. Captured data revealed alien weaknesses, central command systems, predictable response times. Humans struck those weaknesses without mercy. One system at a time, one fleet at a time. On Earth, people followed the war in quiet tension. There were no cheers, only determination. Children learned new emergency drills. Families accepted long silences from loved ones in space. The war was no longer about survival alone. It was about making sure no one would ever issue such a warning again. Deep in alien territory, human fleets prepared their next move. Not a message, not a threat, but a lesson. The Orion Collective finally understood their greatest mistake. They had believed humans would ask permission to fight. They had believed humans needed approval. They were wrong. Humans had taken the war into their own hands. Final warning to the galaxy: the war did not end with one great battle. It ended with exhaustion, fear, and understanding. The Orion Collective was breaking. Their fleets were scattered, their supply lines destroyed. Their leaders no longer spoke with confidence. Human forces pushed forward carefully, not in rage, but with control, one by one. Alien systems sent requests for talks. Some begged, some demanded. All feared what would happen next. For the first time since the war began, humanity responded. A single message was transmitted across the galaxy. Simple, clear, and impossible to misunderstand. We warned you once. You chose violence. We answered, we do not seek your worlds. We do not seek your extinction. But we will never accept chains, threaten humanity again. And this will look gentle by comparison. The message ended there. The Orion Collective accepted the terms. Their fleets withdrew from human space. Observation structures were dismantled. Borders were redrawn in silence. Across the galaxy, other species paid attention. They studied human battles. They learned human behavior. They saw a species that tried peace first, but never forgot how to fight. Earth did not celebrate victory. Memorials were built instead. Names of lost colonies and fallen soldiers were carved into stone. Human ships returned slowly, damaged, scarred, but alive. Children once again looked at the stars, not with fear, but with respect. Humanity did not claim to rule the galaxy. They did not build an empire. They built a reputation that spread quietly. Humans are calm. Humans are creative. Humans are dangerous when cornered. Far from Earth, new civilizations rose, some curious, some cautious. All remembered the same lesson. Humans do not rush to war, but once pushed, they finish it. The galaxy moved on, wiser, more careful, and somewhere in the dark, old powers watched human space from a distance, and chose wisely to never issue another warning.